Mohajer, a Mersad series of unmanned aerial vehicles, is built by Iran. The Mohajer is primarily used for reconnaissance. It may also be capable of guiding laser-guided munitions to the targets. History. Mohajer was first developed at the peak of the Iran-Iraq War. Studies started between 1980 by Iranian universities and IRGC as Iran needed surveillance equipment to gather information about Iraqi moves. 4 prototypes were built in 1981 and were initially put into service to monitor the enemy lines in Shalamchah. This drone, which was later named Mohajer-1, was Iran's first step to manufacture UAVs. Mohajer continued to photograph Iraqi lines to the end of the war and accomplished 619 sorties at the end. There are reports indicating that Mohajer-1 was armed with 6 RPG-7 rockets to attack enemy positions, making it the first UCAV in the world to be used in war. Following the successful use of Mohajer-1, Iran wanted a version with more range and endurance to monitor distant, unreachable places. The version, which was later named Mohajer-2, also had an autopilot system to help it in its missions in places far from the reach of radio waves of command center. Its airframe was completely built with composite materials. More than 200 Mohajer-2s are built as of 2011. Mohajer-3 was developed to further increase the range and endurance. The airframe was redesigned to achieve this goal. Mohajer-4 was later designed for both Iranian Army and IRGC. The airframe was again redesigned and better cameras were installed on the drone. Range and endurance were increased much more. There are 2 other variants of the Mohajer-4 called Hot 100 and Shatin. As of 2006, 30 Mohajer-4 and 10 Shatins were built. Engine used in this drone is WA-342 of 3W engines. Operational history. During the 1990s civil war in Afghanistan, Mohajer drones were reported to monitor the situation. On November 7, 2004, Hezbollah flew a Mohajer-4 over northern Israel for about 5 minutes. The UAV entered Israeli airspace at more than 100 knots and an altitude of about 1,000 feet, flew briefly over the seaside city of Nataria, and fell into the sea. Iran sold 8 Mohajer-4s to Hezbollah. According to an unnamed Iranian Revolutionary Guard senior officer quoted by London-based Arab daily newspaper Ashaq al-Awsat, in 2010, U.S. satellite images revealed a Venezuelan facility that is reported to be manufacturing Iranian drones. Later, Venezuela unveiled a drone called Santapia, which is identical to Mohajer-2, except that it uses skids to protect the camera during the parachute recovery. This feature was only seen on Mohajer-4. According to some sources, Venezuela signed a $28 million contract to manufacture Mohajer-2 despite sanctions that prohibited Iran from exporting arms. On the 16th of May 2015, the Turkish Air Force reportedly shot down a Mohajer drone that had violated its airspace. Variants. Mohajer-1, initial variant developed during Iran-Iraq War. Mohajer-2, slightly better range. Addition of autopilot systems, had an endurance of 1.5 hours and range of 50 kilometers. Mohajer-2N. Introduced in 2014, it is a surveillance and reconnaissance drone with the range of 150 kilometers and flight endurance of 6 hours. It is equipped with advanced monitoring system and camera. Mohajer-3 features a more box-shaped fuselage that is different from cylinder-shaped fuselages of Mohajer-1 and 2. with a range of 100 kilometers and endurance of 2 to 3 hours. Mohajer-4. Its fuselage is again redesigned and features low-mounted trapezoid-shaped wings with upward-canted wingtips to lessen the drag. Operational range is increased to 150 kilometers, altitude to 15,000 feet and endurance to 7 hours. The weight of the drone is almost double of the older versions. There are two sub-versions with unknown differences called Hod-100 and Shahin. Mohajer-4 photogrammetric version. Photogrammetric drone capable of carrying out aerial mapping for military and civilian purposes. Specifications. Data from http Theaconstone. Blogspot. 2015-03 Mohajer UAV. HTML. General characteristics. Length 2.91 meters. Wingspan 3.82 meters. Max takeoff weight 90 kilograms. Power plant 1 times WA 342 2-stroke 19 kilowatts. Propellers 2-bladed. Performance maximum speed 180 kilometers per hour. Range 150 kilometers. Endurance 6. Service ceiling 3,350 meters.